What is up? Notebook Wagering back for your weekly edition. Smitty and Q in studio. We've got the boys from Pittsburgh with us once again. First off, we are live from the Salisbury Center in Manassas, Virginia, fueled by Monster Energy Drink. The best product on the market, all zero, the best. I'll be having multiple next week, or tomorrow. And next week. I have them every day.
Probably tonight.
Probably tonight. Listen, March Madness has been wild. We're going to get to that, but first, the little introduction. Smitty, what's going on?
What's going on, guys? Great to be here. A wild weekend. I'm going to say it right now. Very hard gambling weekend.
Tough.
We were together Friday having a good time.
We battled, though. We battled.
You have to. You have to battle and stuff. So, but it was hard. It was exciting. I can't wait to hear what everyone's opinions are and thoughts of the first two games that teams have played, and now we're ready to go into the Sweet 16. So what is going on, Jason? What is happening in Pittsburgh tonight?
My whole world is crushed as of 6 o'clock today.
Do you want to break the news?
He's taking the head coaching job at Notre Dame, and my Penn State Nittany Lions are back in basketball, Netherlands, and I'm going through the various stages of grief right now. So I was still in denial up to about 20 minutes ago, and now I'm in reasoning. I'm going to work through all of them, but I'm going to be okay. Maddie, what do you have to say to that?
I don't care about Penn State. You guys
I love it. That's the answer. Attaboy, Matt. Matt,
I don't care about Georgetown hoops either.
Oh,
They're both irrelevant.
goodness.
We'll touch on that. Ed Cooley.
And guess what? Nobody cares about Syracuse hoops either, so we're going to just throw it like that. So.
And you're right. You're right, though. They are irrelevant right now, too, and they're probably going to trend down, which stinks. But I'm ready to go. I'm ready for the Sweet 16. My Vegas hangover is officially gone. Betting hangover hopefully goes away with it. Let's roll. Let's kill it tonight.
Real quick, Ed Cooley goes to Georgetown. He broke his news. I'll break that. And then Providence has pretty much secured a job already. English,
and Patino went to St. John's. So a lot of action. And again,
English was from where we're at. George Mason did a hell of a job. Turned that program around. So good hire, I think.
I think all the hires are. I mean, again, hey, listen, I'm with Jason. I'm a Penn State basketball fan, not a football fan, but basketball fan. I really like the coach. There was rumors he was going to come to Georgetown. I would have been fine with that too. It's tough. It's tough as a Penn State fan to see.
It just sets him back 3-4 years.
It will be, Jason's. We're not going to go into coaching rumors here. Jason, will probably have more info who they're going to hire. Hopefully, they'll get somebody good and continue the process here.
All right, let's get into that. All right, quick recap, round 1 and 2. Let's just kind of talk about the biggest talking points. And I think the biggest one is obviously Fairleigh Dickinson takes out Purdue. I know everybody was shocked. I didn't necessarily think Purdue was going to cover because Matt Painter doesn't do well in the tournament, and I felt like they were too dependent on Edey down low. They're shooting. They have good shooters, but they're not consistent. And so I wasn't surprised that they didn't cover, but I was surprised that they lost. I thought they should at least make it to round 2. What's your thoughts?
Well, I think that was the game, and I want to hear, I called my dad, and I said, man, is this one of the, this might be the biggest upset of all time. I mean, when you think about basketball upsets, that has to be right there. This is a team like 2 weeks ago that we talked about. They didn't even win their conference.
They shouldn't have even been in the tournament.
And Merrimack, again, for our listeners, Merrimack was the team that won the conference and won the tournament, but they've coming in now to Division I basketball for now it seems like it's been 5 years and they're still not allowed in it, and we talked about it. But I'd love to hear the guys. Can
I say this real quick? Yeah. I think Merrimack could have knocked them off too.
Well, they played well, and a lot of people had Memphis or Florida Atlantic beating them in the second round.
Yeah. Yep.
My thing was, if you really look at this, a 16 seed, and then the team that beat Virginia as another 16, because I think it's only happened twice.
Yes, UMBC.
Yes, in UMBC, they said if they matched up, somebody said it.
They said Fairleigh Dickinson would have blown them out.
I heard the
Or no, UMBC would have, yeah.
I heard the point spread would have been -7 UMBC against Fairleigh Dickinson.
Yeah.
So it's a bigger upset. I mean, you think about upsets in basketball, like you go back to like Ralph Sampson and I think it was Shaman on the Maui Classic that beat him or whatever that was. That was a big upset.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's amazing. And, there's been some Purdue people not very happy with that. What, Maddie, are you upset in college basketball? Can you just answer that really quick? Where does that rank in your college basketball upsets?
Man, it's top 5 for sure. I mean, you guys summed it up already. UMBC, Purdue's got to be in there. I mean, I know it's not like the rankings, but Villanova beating Georgetown is still super high.
Well, I think that game
I'm
itself
sure
to shoot, 90%? Whatever they did.
Yeah, but I mean, they had no size. Ed Pinckney was their biggest, and they got to guard Ewing, All-American. It's up
absolutely.
there. There's some other ones. The George Mason run, you could probably go back and find something there. I'm not sure who they played. But I was going to say something, Q. You said you were surprised, though, that Purdue lost because they were so reliant on Edey, yet I don't think he shot in the last 14 minutes, 16 minutes or something.
Well, I don't think they could get it to him.
I don't think he shot. I agree with you.
Oh, come on. He's 7.
No. What I'm saying, like, yes, you can dump the ball to a 7-4, but they just kept doubling him, and I don't think they felt confident to kind of throw it in there.
That's all Painter because
I agree.
Throw it into him.
I agree.
Let him go to the hoop and at least draw a freaking foul.
Make the play.
That's all Matt Painter.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, but I'm just saying from their perspective, I don't think they were confident enough to dump it in. But I agree. It's kind of like you make somebody say no because they might say yes. Make them make the play. If they do, tip your hat to them, but force them.
Yeah.
Put the ball in play.
He's the college player of the year. How do you not get him touches down the stretch when you're in a tight ball game? And
I agree.
What we know is going to be a grind of a tournament.
Yep. Jason, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, Edey looked like he was in Oz and all the Munchkins were right around him. That's what it really looked like. Like, Purdue cannot figure anything out to get him free. They basically just cheated like crazy and said, somebody else will beat us, and if you pass it to one of your shooters, we will close out before they get there. And they were fast enough to pull it off. I mean, that strategy probably works maybe, 2 out of 10 times, but it was pretty clear that the FDU just kept gaining confidence as the game was on, that this game plan worked.
Yeah.
It was feeding into it. And Purdue's confidence, you could see, was shrinking. Like, nobody wanted to shoot those shots. Like, Edey was the only guy out there doing anything.
I agree.
Like, everybody else, I don't think, did Braden Smith even score, their point guard? I don't
think he did.
I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I was going to jump in.
I think he went. I thought he went 1 for something, but I could be wrong.
He probably did. I mean, he had the ball for 38 minutes. You got to think he got one of them up. But, like, nobody wanted to be the other guy in that team. And, like, you got to blame Painter because you could see it if you're watching the game. You've seen Purdue do this, 4 out of the last 5 years or something like that? It looked exactly like all those upsets. Like, you can just tell that they're quicker than us. We're not making any adjustments. Like, he had to have an idea. Now, granted, there was a little bit of an advantage for FDU that he didn't know he was playing them until Tuesday, but, still. I mean, you've been the number 1 team in the nation for most of the year. It was a poor job. They played their game. FDU was just really quick. And I love it. My alma mater down FDU. I love
Jason, you could coach your son's team and have 2 days notice and get a better game plan than that. And that dude has 10 assistants, if not more.
I agree.
And you have no assistants.
Yeah.
I don't know how many. Yeah, well, no. It's just a failure. Like, they need to recruit differently. They have too many of the same guy.
And let me jump in here really quick because I want to brag up Jason really quick because Jason's been on this team, I think 2 years now, and I've been kind of higher on Purdue. And Jason always will text and say, "Slow down, Smitty. There's not guys that can really step up." And this year especially, he has said this.
Yeah.
And he has said, "I'm really worried about the guards."
Yeah,
handling
he said it all season long.
Shooting the ball. Who's going to step up and shoot the ball? Well, we're talking right now, this again. And Jason, and I'm going to brag Jason up here for a second because he has said this all year. This team no one can step up. And that's what I've heard on show after show after show.
Yeah.
Nobody would step up and make that key jumper that they really needed or a 3-point shot. No one was there. So, Jason, great job on that.
Thank you.
I have one quick kind of rebuttal, though. Didn't Jaden Ivey play for them last year?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So,
Well, he can score in the NBA. They definitely have had a score or two. It's all Matt Painter.
I don't think it's consistency, though. I mean, Jason and I, and we'll move on after this because we have a bunch to talk about.
I'm down on Purdue, too, but I mean, I'm just trying to play like devil's advocate. Like, they've had a scorer.
No, well, but again,
they can't win with a big.
We've said it, though. They have scores. Yes, they have guys that can shoot better than most schools across the country, but they don't. They're not knockdown assassins that you need. They're not a J.J. Redick. They're not a Jaden Ivey. You know, obviously, it is what it is. He didn't have the greatest tournament last year, but he's not a Ja Morant in a tournament. These guys that you can just count on to say, you know what, we're down 4 or we're down 3, go get the dub. They didn't have that. They don't have that. When was the last time they've had a guy that can just shoot the lights out of the gym consistently? I mean, yeah, we can all do it in practice. We can do it through the course of a season.
Hummel.
I mean, yeah, but how long has that been?
Doing a great job in the booth right now. And, here's the thing, too. It's just younger guards. We talked about this 2 weeks ago, that one of the things I look at these teams is guys that can handle the backcourt, being veteran guys, being there, seniors, juniors that have been there.
Well, you don't have that in college basketball
anymore. It's tough. That team was young. And, again, a lot of people did not have them losing that game.
Yeah.
But they had them losing the second
I think
game.
guard play is actually hurt by the one and done in the G League, personally. I think if guys didn't, have to leave after a year, or the transfer portal thing didn't really exist to the extent or the leniency that it has, like you would see teams like Houston, where they have Sasser, Sheed. You would see multiple guys of junior, senior year who could just shoot. They play good basketball and they could grow, but you don't see that. They don't play for their first year. They transfer.
And real quick, and then we got to dive into these games. But that team did not crumble that second game either, man. They were right there.
Well, it's a smaller school.
They ran their system.
They play team basketball.
That was a great game. That was one game this weekend that was really up and down.
Yeah.
Both teams made runs in that game.
Yep.
And again, this is what makes some of these guys, like Penn State, a couple wins, guys going to Notre Dame. I know Jason's going to be on. We're going to watch him tonight, make sure we have calls on his house and everything. But the second thing is that guy from Fairleigh Dickinson just got a job at Iona, and Patino left. He got
fits the system.
And a lot of people said, "Oh, I don't see that." Well, he did pretty well, I think, last year too. He's earned that job. And like Jason said, a great thing, and then we're done here. He's going to fit that team well, because Iona, since even the coach before Patino, man, they like to get up and go a little bit. So that system's going to play well there for Iona. That's a good hire, I think.
All right, let's move on. The last kind of big point that I had, and then we'll break these games. We really got to stay quick on this. The officiating has been so across the board for this tournament, whether it's moving screens, the charges. Obviously, I know it's not going to be perfect, but this year just seems way more inconsistent than most. More moving screens called, more charges called. It almost seems like teams couldn't get in a rhythm, and they were almost scared because they really didn't know how to play with the officiating. And then Jason and I talked, some of these games it was like you're calling them the ticky-tackiest foul, but then on a loose ball it's a bloodbath at mid-court and there's no whistle. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is two different games within the same court. I don't see you've got to make it consistent. You got to let these teams kind of get in a rhythm and say, okay, we're going to play aggressive or we're going to play tentative, and make us play that way. But to choke on the whistle in one moment and then blow it as hard as you can on the next, it's just inconsistency across the board made, to me, it stand out to some of these teams. What's your guys' super quick thoughts?
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, the first 4 games, I think we were talking about that, Q. That very first 4 game was officiated. That was basically MMA.
Well,
so,
even West Virginia, Maryland. West Virginia, Maryland, it was a brawl at half court.
Yeah, those two coaches have no problem mixing it up. So it really depends on the teams, too. Because, obviously, Tennessee pulled some WWE stuff at the start of the Duke game, which was smart.
Yeah.
Because Duke has a reputation this year of being a little bit soft.
I agree.
Wilting away from that stuff. And it was pretty clear Barnes made it hey, we're going to be really physical. I don't know if he meant them to be that physical, where they're getting the guys are getting bladed.
Yeah, it was wild.
Like I said, it definitely affects how the flow of the game. And I think you're right though. There's definitely been some refs have definitely been tighter than others.
Yeah.
Some regions have let them play, and it definitely favors one side over the other. West Virginia, Maryland probably doesn't favor anybody. They do that all day if they.
Yeah. That was. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I jumped on a spot with Smitty last night for the Sharp Angle Syndicate guys, and we talked about this. Man, if you were in the paint you better have your big boy chin strap on because they let them bang.
Yeah.
Which I'm all for. But yeah, dude, too many ticky tacks. I don't mind the moving screens and stuff like that because I think a lot of people do get away with it.
Well, I do too, but you got to be consistent on it.
Yeah, well, I think these crews are all made up of all-stars, so they don't know who's good at doing what, et cetera. Yeah, so, but yeah, some of the ticky-tacks are just crap, but the brawling underneath, I hope they let it go because I liked it. I mean,
80s Pistons.
I think that's one of the reasons, though, we hit so many unders. Like the tournament trend was on unders. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're going to know in like 5 to 10 minutes how the game's going to get officiated. And then you got to adjust. And good teams adjust. They're going to, and like, you know, Tennessee was one on Saturday. I had Tennessee best bet on Sharp Angle Syndicate. And you guys were texting right away. You're like, Jason said that. He goes, man, they're punching Duke in the face. And I'm like, good. Punch Duke in the face. I need it right now. But I agree with Matt, too. It needs to be consistent, and I like it that you're letting these guys play. Now, it can't get out of hand, but adjust. Good teams adjust where the game's going to go. If it's going to be very ticky-tack, then you got to adjust. If they're going to let it go, then let it roll, and let's see what happens.
All right, let's see. We're going to talk Sweet 16. We'll see if the consistency improves. Now you start to consolidate to the better officiating crew is kind of what it sounds like. So I would think that this stuff kind of gets smoothed out to an extent. But let's break down these games real quick. Michigan State, Kansas State is your first Thursday night. 6:30 dinner time game. Get out the TV trays because we are not sitting as a family. We're gambling as a family. Kansas State plus 1.5 over under 137.5. I would imagine in this game the under trend continues. I think that's a good bet.
I love the trend. I'm sorry, man. Do you remember those like old 19?
I have
when
them.
You're like our age.
I
like
have
old
them.
trays. You're at grandma's and you brought the tray out. That's fantastic.
I think. Yeah, I mean I have them. I'll be breaking them out. We're going to the beach, so I have them at the condo. We're gonna not sit at the table. We're gonna sit on the couch, watch the game.
There we go.
Kansas State, I think, wins this game in an under. I think it's going to be close. Michigan State doesn't impress me overall this year. They really rely on Hauser and a couple other guys to hit the three, and I kind of think this is where the run ends. Everybody says don't fade Izzo in March. Bottom line is the guy's only won one national title. I'm not taking anything from him, but I think Kansas State's run right now is real. I think Kansas State, especially with Marquise Newell, or as Calipari called him, that little kid, he's coming back home, getting to play in Madison Square Garden. I think he's going to ball out and kind of have like a Kobe game in front of his family. He gets to play in front of them. I really like the kid. He's playing with heart. He kind of reminds me of like a Shabazz Napier, a little undersized, but is just hitting drop dead, knockout punch shots. I think Michigan State's guards kind of sit back on this, so give me Kansas State. I actually like them. Plus the money, plus the teaser in the under and the money line. This is probably my favorite bet of Sweet 16. Go ahead, boys.
Yeah, this all leans for me here. I want to see where the lines go, maybe overnight and into tomorrow before I do official plays here.
Well, I believe they started as favorites and then it flipped.
Yeah, Michigan State. Yeah, Michigan State's favorite right now. Both these teams. Michigan State likes the jumper. Kansas State, sometimes you got to take it to the rim a little bit on.
And
them.
they can.
Well,
Kansas State can.
Well, I'm saying Michigan State has to get to the rim
agree.
in there because I think that's where it's opening here. Yeah. Now, both these teams have to shoot well because last time Michigan State only shot, I think, 2 of 16 from three-point land against, I'm losing who they played. Marquette, thank you very much. Kansas State was only 5 of 21 against Kentucky on Sunday. And if you really watch that game, some of those threes came really late in that game that were big. Now, Q said about the point guard. He took over that game for them. Michigan State, Walker and Hauser are the 2 big players on this. I personally like Michigan State in this. I like where they're at. I liked them against USC. My lean right now is moneyline Michigan State. Matty, what do you got?
You go Wildcats.
I love
You're
it.
right. We'll be against Smitty for sure. I think Kansas State is the best player on the court in Keontae Johnson. Newell from Harlem, man. He's going to pack that place. They're going to pack that place.
I think he shows out.
Manhattan, Kansas is going to travel to Manhattan, New York, basically a big garden. This is going to be a great game. Give me the points for sure, and I'm actually going to put a little on the money line. I'm with you, Q. I think it's just I know Tang is the new coach, but he's got one thing going. He's not afraid of anything. He really hypes these guys up. And I know Izzo's good, and Michigan State is good, but they're not flashy. I don't think they have enough. I actually think Kansas State's going to shoot better than they did against Kentucky, and they beat Kentucky, who in my eyes is actually better than Michigan State. So, yeah, give me Kansas State.
I don't know. I really don't. I think this game actually might go over. Just looking at it, it's a really even matchup. Like, you look at it, but backcourts are really good for both teams. They have big guys up front that aren't as involved with the scoring. I mean, I can understand the love for K-State, but I think Michigan State's kind of been the most consistent team in the Big Ten because they can score and they can defend. It's really the only team that can do both. I really don't have a pick. Like I said, I actually think I like the over in this game. I think it's might actually even go a little extra overtime. This is a really even matchup.
I don't even think personally, and I'll skip to the next game, had Marquette's Kolick shot halfway decent, had they not acted like they weren't even in the game, I don't think Michigan State would have got to this point.
See, I think Kentucky should have been up by about 20 on Kansas State early in that game. I think they completely outplayed.
I agree. I mean, I had Kentucky. If Reeves doesn't go 1 for 15, this is Kentucky, and I agree with that. But I think on the court, the two best players are Keontae Johnson down low. He can shoot a 3. He hit a big one, and I think the Marquise Newell story, that's just that puts it over the edge for me. I think they're getting hot at the right time, and I just think in the matchup they're the better team. But we'll find out. We're going to move on.
That's why they play the game.
That's why they play the game. All right, so
State's going to the 4.
Yeah, I like it. Catch the ticky, Matt.
Nice turn it out there.
All right, so then we have Thursday at 7:15. It's going to be your dessert round. Get out the creme brulees because UConn is playing Arkansas, which I think from a coaching standpoint is going to be the most electric game. You've got Musselman ripping his shirt off, pounding his chest. You got Hurley.
I think I saw him downstairs.
He's downstairs. It is live. If you're at the Salisbury Center, do us a favor. Stop by the studio. Go downstairs. Enjoy yourself because it is popping downstairs. But Hurley, that guy is mother effing the refs. His son's in the game with like 30 seconds left. That guy was and they're up, 15? And they're just going to town. This is going to be electric. This is a tight game, and I think Connecticut is the better team on paper. Where I lean is I actually like the points in Arkansas because I think Musselman is a better coach, and I think in this moment Hurley has lost some games he probably shouldn't have, made some bad mistakes in his career in big games. I think Musselman doesn't make those mistakes. Give me that, and I think Arkansas, I think his name's Nate. Who's their best player? Nick Smith. They said Nick Smith has been struggling so bad. The story is after the game, he's in the locker room, bawling his eyes out of frustration, and I think he finally kind of breaks through. The guy's a lottery pick. He's struggling right now. I think he gets there and gets right. I would take the points here.
Yeah, I think I said this last night on the spot that myself and Matt did. I think UConn, now Jason would be better at the Ken Palm stuff. I think Connecticut is one of those teams that's in the top 20 offense and defense. Jason, you going to do a head ball?
They are, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm on that. I like this play. I do like I kind of like some of the dogs here this going into the next 2 days here, especially in a teaser. If you like teasers, maybe jack it up. I think it's going to be a great game. I do like moneyline parlay matching Connecticut with somebody else because I do think Connecticut wins this game. Arkansas has to shoot a little better. They shot 3 of 15 from three-point land against Kansas.
UConn definitely shoots better.
Yeah. So, and the guards were the key for Arkansas the last couple games here. The big guy underneath for Connecticut's really good. They get at you. I do like Connecticut to win a game. What's the spread really quick on this?
4.5.
4.5. 4.5. See, I like the money line parlay. I like to match Connecticut maybe with somebody else that you really like and go there. But in a teaser spot, I really like Arkansas in this. I think it's going to be a tight game. And like you said, I think it's going to be very electric. I think this is going to be just intense, and it's going to be a fantastic game.
You and I are going to be in cahoots a lot, I think, so far. I'm Team Arkansas here. Nick Smith's going to shoot better. Like Smitty said, they need to shoot better.
Yeah.
They're going to shoot better.
They're too good to shoot this poorly.
That's right. They can't keep it up. I mean, they basically have 2 lottery picks, Nick Smith, and I think the other kid, Black, is supposed to also go really high. I mean, I know UConn's big. They're also super careless with the ball. They're a turnover machine that's waiting to happen.
Yeah.
They love the foul. I think if this gets close, man, I'm probably going to take Arkansas with the points here for my pick on this game.
No, it makes a lot of sense. It really comes. Arkansas can't shoot from three. We've seen that, and both these teams are gigantic. Like, I mean, Arkansas's point guard is 6'7". I think UConn's starting backcourt is both 6'5". It's basically two NBA teams running around out there size wise. I think the biggest difference is UConn's guards. Arkansas, I mean, Council's a great scorer, but it's got to come from inside the arc. And UConn, that they've shown they have range. They showed against St. Mary's. They were hitting tons of threes from the outside. Against offenses as good as UConn's, basically top 50 offenses, Arkansas is 4-10 this year. But the margins are tight, so taking the points is definitely not a bad play here. The only thing that you can get away from here is Arkansas having to foul a bunch if they're down. They can kind of screw up the point spread. But I like UConn to win. I have UConn in the Final Four, Matty, which is not nearly as aggressive as K-State. But I do think they get out of this one basically because Arkansas' shooting was. But I do admit the turnovers are a concern because Arkansas is very good at forcing turnovers, and UConn can be careless with both fouls and turnovers. So that would be the bugaboo that gets them. And I would take Musselman over Hurley if it heads up on a coaching matchup because Hurley just loses his mind too often.
I agree.
Who would you take in an arm wrestling match? Musselman or Hurley?
100%.
Pound for pound, Musselman. But
when you take your shirt off drinking Cokes,
Hurley's a big guy.
Yeah. All right, Tennessee, Florida Atlantic is probably my most boring game of the slate. I like Tennessee in a moneyline parlay. I think Florida Atlantic, I do think they're a good team. I think they're deserving to be in the Sweet 16. I'm not taking anything from them. What concerns me, though, is Jason brought it up to me. Middle Tennessee State is probably the most similar school that they've played in comparison to Tennessee. And Tennessee is one of the best defensive teams in the country. They obviously don't have Ziegler, which is a huge... If they had Ziegler, I think this is probably a 9.5, 10-point spread. They don't. So I think Vescovi hitting perfect, timely shots, which he does. He doesn't get rattled. And I think the defensive ability of Tennessee is really going to hurt FAU's opportunities. Now, FAU is a really good. They shoot like 38% from the three-point line, which is great as a team. They have really good guards. They can score. But Tennessee's going to be in their face. And I think they're going to make them uncomfortable when you're going to see that number drop. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Tennessee only allows like 27 or 28% three-point shooting. I'm not saying it's going to be a pretty game by any means, but I think Tennessee defensively and timely will make the best plays, and they'll come out with a close win.
Yeah, I think what we said earlier in the show is big. Tennessee might try to muscle up early in this game again.
Yeah.
And just try to intimidate them a little bit.
I think they're going to try to scare them.
Like they did against Duke.
Absolutely.
So, again, if the officiating is calling quick on this, okay, now we're into something here.
Yeah.
I think I do have that down on my little card here. I got the index cards tonight, everyone, just to let you know. And little index cards here tonight. So, Tennessee does shut down the three-point shooting, and, this team's going to have to do it. This, man, teaser-wise, I said this a lot in football. I think this is a good spot either way. I think Tennessee, I like your money line play. Yeah. I think they're going to win the game. But I think this one, looking at some other numbers, I think this one could be a little tight too. I think this team could hang with Tennessee a little bit. It depends on the officiating, in my opinion.
You were doing so good.
Matt, we got to separate the men from the boys, and this is here right now.
This is actually, I think, my favorite game on this Thursday slate. Yeah, and I hate the way Tennessee plays. Now, I'm going to flip your script because Tennessee did so well guarding the three because no one in the SEC could actually shoot the three.
Fair.
They were the worst conference shooting. So this team that they're playing in Florida Atlantic, they are going to spread them out. They had 6 guys chuck up over 100 threes.
Yeah.
And I think Tennessee's going to struggle. Here's why. Because they're going to want to bang inside.
Yeah.
Well, FAU actually still has 2 really big guys, so they're not going to get away with just going in there and brawling and whatnot and thinking they're going to get like easy hoops.
Sure.
I think Florida Atlantic's going to run these guys. I'm actually going to look at an over. And I'm actually going to play FAU plus the points and FAU money line.
What's the?
I think this is the upset of the night.
What's the size of that big guy for them underneath?
7.
Is he a
7'1"?
7'1". Okay.
Yeah.
Surely look like a 7-footer on TV.
Yeah, 7'1", and then I think the other kid's 6'9". They're forward.
Rosado.
Yeah. Yep.
Looking at some of the
But
stats
they
and real quick, Jay, looking at some things I look at, I think this is a great teaser spot for Florida Atlantic, I think, in a way. Like I said, I think you could go either way. I think Tennessee does squeak it out, but I agree with Matt. Matt said some great things there. I think this is going to be, I think they're going to have Tennessee on the ropes because, like you guys said, I just want to make one more point here with Barnes. When I took them, everyone was going, oh, Barnes. He's 3-14 last 17 ATS in the tournament here. Everyone's patting them on the back. Big win against Duke because so many people had Duke like going to the Final Four, and then that's a big win. Do they get surprised? They could. Sorry, Jason, go ahead.
No. The one thing with FAU is a concern is everyone else is tiny. Like that's it. They have two big guys, and Tennessee has some monsters, but it's gonna be interesting because we just saw Tennessee's best performance of the year. Like that was their best game. Like they hit everything.
They hit their shots.
You have to be careful that you're not that team's not showing up Thursday. Now whether it's bad enough to get you lose to Florida Atlantic, it's a whole different thing. But I think you have to watch with them, and then San Diego State's kind of in the same boat where you saw them at their best last time you saw them. So be careful. Remember all the other stuff you saw during the season where you're like, geez, it's like when Tennessee played Auburn and didn't look like anybody was trying to score. I like FAU in this matchup because I think they have backdoor cover potential too because they do hit the three. Tennessee is big; they can guard them. Like you said, nobody in SEC hits threes, but I think Tennessee can adjust their defense for that too. They still can guard. It's more in Vescovi case they had a foul trouble because if they lose him, they're done. That offense will grind down just like it did against Louisiana in the first round, where they kind of couldn't do anything for 10 minutes and let them back in the game. Yeah. That's your biggest concern with Tennessee. I will take the Florida Atlantic for points. I do think Tennessee comes out of this one though. They sweat, but they win.
All right, we're going to speed things up just a little bit faster. Gonzaga UCLA is probably my favorite matchup. I think both these teams are electric. Obviously, we're going to say Clark, as we've talked, and everybody on Twitter will say it nausea. He's out. That's a big loss for UCLA. 17 years to the day is the Adam Morrison collapse that we all remember. I kind of think there's a little... Now, Suggs did get revenge 2 years ago. He hit the buzzer beater three. But I kind of think Gonzaga's still holding on to that Adam Morrison thing. And I like Timmy. I think if Timmy's starting to... run the fingers through his Fu Manchu, and he's starting to flip the hair, and he's pumping up the crowd. He pumps up the crowd better than most kids in college basketball. I'm there for it. Shoots really good from the free throw line. Everything runs through him. They have an NBA style offense, which I think bodes really well against a stout UCLA team. I think this game could go over with a 145.5. Give me Gonzaga. I just think that they're going to outshoot them, especially without Clark there. That's just kind of where I lean. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Gonzaga, I think it's their year to continue to go.
Yeah, this might be my favorite game of the next two nights here. I think it's going to be a great out in Vegas, man. I think Messiah Muss is going to be there. Fred's going to be there watching this game. What's the guard play? Like you said, everything ran through Timmy against TCU, man. That whole game. And then it opened up a little bit with the guards. My key for the Zags are the guards going to show up. Campbell has to play a little better. Did not shoot well last game for UCLA. Singleton, I think, is going to be okay. Rolled the ankle, but I think he should be fine on this.
Oh, last stat. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
UCLA last two games has shot 50%. I think there's some regression.
Yeah, and here's the big key on this. The Zags, 16 out of 25, 64% free throw shooting against TCU. That better improve. Guard plays the key. Down low, can they stop Timmy? That's the question for UCLA. I think this game's really tight. And I love, one real quick, I disagree with you here. And Matt said this on the spot last night, and I agreed with Matt. I think this game's an under. I think UCLA is going to really slow this game down.
If UCLA wins, it's an under. If it goes over, Gonzaga wins.
Yep,
like you look at UCLA's losses, they're all against top 50 offenses. They're 1-3 against top 10 offenses. Gonzaga's the best offense in KenPom ratings here. So
Gonzaga's the number one offense, I think, in the country.
Yeah, I don't think UCLA has enough firepower to play a fast game, so Cronin has to slow it down. I like the Zags trying to speed it up, and I think they outscore them.
Yeah, if UCLA had their full complement of players, I'm all about UCLA.
Sure, absolutely. They'd win a national title.
I just think the Zags have too much right now. Cronin's going to try his best. I am with Smitty, though. I think this is an under. He's going to try to get this to a snail's pace, keep them low, hopefully a 65, 66 kind of game. So, I'm less intrigued by this game than the others. We know what these two teams are. I'm more interested in the FAU team. But, yeah, give me the under on this one. I don't have a play on, like, the actual winner, but I'd lean Zags money line.
All right, this is a stay away for me. I'm just going to be excited to watch it. San Diego State, Alabama. Alabama laying 7.5. Over under 137.5. I just don't know what team we're going to get out of SDSU. Like Jason just said, they played perfect basketball last week. They're probably the best defensive team out that Alabama's going to play in this tournament until you get to potentially a national title. If UCLA was to somehow get there. What's their gas tank looking like? Have they just run out of gas? They've played tough games. They had a tough one against Charleston. They had another tough, initial start, and then they kind of pulled away towards halftime and then took it away in the second half. Bama's so good. They got the best player in the country, in my opinion, on their team. Now, they do rely heavily on the three, and they don't shoot the three at a great clip percentage-wise. They just shoot a million of them, so some are going to go in. They do have the size, though. That concerns me. Has San Diego State just kind of run out of gas from two tough games? I don't know. It's a stay away for me.
I love San Diego State.
Great team, though. Great storyline.
Yeah, I love this team. I really can't wait for this one, too. The thing with this, they have three guards that can play really well. I think they're going to be great defensive team. Can they score? If Bama's scoring quick in this and they get behind, then we're in trouble here. I think it's a lot of points in this. I really like San Diego State in this. Big second half for Bama against Maryland. They did not shoot the 3-point well. 6 out of 21. And you've said to me many times that
Bama relies on it.
That's what they rely on. If they're struggling against this team, I think they're in trouble here. Miller, again, good player. Didn't have a great game. 5 of 17 from the floor, 2 of 6 from 3-point. Did end up with 19. Their other guard that only averages about, 8 a game is the one that's been scoring for them. I think this game's close. I would not be shocked if the Aztecs can win this game. I'm going Aztecs in this.
Whew.
I don't know if they can win.
I think this is roll tide, and I think this is an easy one. I think we get the stinky Mountain West conference game that is still left in these guys. Bama matches up too well with them. Q said, best player in the country, best player on the court is going to be Miller. However, when they put Quinterly, the point guard, into the starting lineup, they've blown teams out by 19
That's
points
the
a
guy,
game.
Matty.
Quinterly's good.
That's the name right there. Only averaged 8, but he's
since
really.
They figured out an optimal lineup with that kid at the point guard, they're killing people. I think San Diego State's going to hang with them. The key with Bama is they can play slow. They can actually play fast because they're great on defense. They're great on offense. And Miller's going to get rolling here sooner or later. I actually think they win by double digits. I think there's going to be a stinky poo-poo platter out of the gate.
Yeah, I'm on board with Matty. I don't trust San Diego State's guards. I know it's a good defensive team, but one thing Bama doesn't get enough credit for is they're a really good defensive team. They're 3 in Ken Palm, 88.3, so 8.8 points of possession. That's really good. San Diego State 1-4 against top 50 defenses this year. I think that continues. So give me Bama later points.
Smitty, tease that sucker down and take Bama.
Yeah, definitely tease them down.
Nope, tease them up. Go Aztecs.
All right, here's an interesting game.
Worst two.
Miami and Houston. They're very similar teams offensively, opposite teams defensively. Houston laying 7.5, trying to get to the host city for the Final Four. Over under 138.5. This game, it could be tight or it's going to be a blowout. There's no middle of the row, in my opinion. Colton Wong, I'm talking to my old man who's a Miami fan, Saturday before you came, Smitty. He says, hey, what's your thoughts? And I said, I told you Friday that if Colton Wong gets on fire and he put up 27 points, Miami can hurt a lot of teams again, especially Indiana. And they did. I mean, they beat Indiana from the jump. They have great guards. They've got Nigel Pack, the TCU guy.
Miller.
You've got Colton Wong. Now you've got your center back who's playing at 100%. The problem is he's one good rebounder on a team, and Houston can rebound with everybody. That's what scares me. If they lock down Wong, and we talked about it, Jason, Miami is, in one moment, they look like a national title contender, and then the next you're sitting there scratching your head like, what the hell are they doing? What are they doing jacking these shots up? Like, they could just be a wreck and they can kill themselves. I think they beat themselves more than they actually lose to their opponent. I think Houston's just going to be a little too much for them. I think even though they're going to have a good game, but Houston's defense, I think, is going to kind of throw a little wrench in their thing. And Houston can run, and Miami wants to run, but so can Houston with Sheed, and Sasser looked very healthy last game in the second half. It's not like Miami can get out on a run and outscore teams because Houston's going to be right there with them. So this is a stay away for me from a points perspective because I just don't know what Miami Hurricanes team is going to show up. But I do like Houston in a money line parlay. I think that's a lock.
Yeah, I like this Miami team. I took them Sunday night, my best bet on Sharp Angle Syndicate, and it was a big winner against Indiana. They blew them out here.
You're not dumb for if you take their points.
No, I love it, and I said it on the pod we did last night, myself and Matt. I think Bama or Houston's going to lose. One of them's going to lose, and that was my bold prediction here. I like this Miami team. Now, not very deep. I agree, not very deep. The 3 guards are key: Pack, Wong, and Miller, like you said. The big guy underneath with the ankle, he had 17 rebounds last game, so he's healthy. Sasser came back, had 22 points. He looked healthy. The point guard, the Sheed, was a little banged up. I don't think he played fantastic in the last game. Again, man, they put on a show, man. Auburn was up 10 at half, and it looked great.
I think that woke them up.
And that woke them up, yeah, and they really ran them out of the gym. So Miami's going to have to play well. I think you made a great point, Q. Do they have enough guys that can rebound the ball? Because the Cougars can get after the glass pretty good. Got to use your speed for Miami. I think it's a close game. I like Miami in this game. I'm not saying money line, but take the points with Miami.
Go ahead, Jason. Oh, no. I'm with you, Smitty. I like Miami in this game, too. Houston plays slow, really slow. I think that's going to be Miami's benefit because, like you said, they don't go deep. So, but the problem is they have one post. If that guy gets in foul trouble, that will be a long day because they have no one else to throw up.
That killed him last year against Kansas. Like that big guy got in foul trouble and they got gutted.
Like Houston doesn't kind of operate that way like Kansas. Like Kansas will throw the ball in the post all day.
Sure.
Like Houston really doesn't play that way. They play 5 out. They kind of flash. They got the 2 good guards, but Miami's got like 3 good guards. So it's going to be really interesting because they will play whatever Miami wants to do. I think the 2 guards will control that. But yeah, like I said, I know they looked healthy. I know this is the similar situation. We saw Houston's best half of basketball in a long time.
Yeah.
At the second half of that game, in a road game, that was even more impressive about it. But that's my Miami team. I can't kill them. But like I said, they play with. It's like dude and I talked about. They live on that edge of like reckless and like fearless, and somehow it comes off. And that's what you want in an underdog. So I'm going to take the Canes.
Jason, while I talk real quick, can you find Miami's defensive efficiency for me?
I got it right here. 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
101.7, but 108 rating.
If they can just get that to 75, whatever that is, if they could drop that down, this team is super dangerous.
Yes.
I'm on board with you guys. Give me Miami plus the points. They actually shoot a better field goal percentage by quite a bit over Houston. Better 3-point shooting team. Better foul shooting team by 5%. If the big guy's healthy, can grab those boards, keep it close, and if they can just get a couple of stops, I think they have enough. And I think this is the other. I think, Smitty, you said it on the show with the Sharp Angle guys. One of the ones is going down. Here's the one. I'm not afraid to run this money line. I think Miami, Jason said, you can't kill them. I think that's going to happen. I think this was a nail biter. And I think somebody makes a shot down the end to win this for the Canes. I'm
jumping on board. I like it. I'm jumping with the points though. But I've always said Miami. I've said Miami's dangerous, so it's not like a true bandwagon. I'm going to take the points.
We need some T-shirts or something set up here.
I want a happy medium. Let's get a 5-point loss by Miami, cover the spread, and I get my win.
Yeah, we'll take the
just for Jason and Smitty, you guys should go on and get the convicts versus Catholics.
Yeah, there you go.
Find those shirts since you're now pissed at Notre Dame for stealing your coach.
I love it. All right, let's move on. We got Princeton and Creighton. This game, I think, is going to be a little lopsided. I think the FAU team is probably the team. If there's going to be an advancement, I think that's going to be them. I think Creighton is just playing lights out. I think they're playing top 10 basketball like they were ranked in preseason. They're healthy now. They're shooting. They shoot from the 3-point line extremely well. I actually think that they win by double digits. I think Princeton ran into a Creighton team that's really fun in their stride right now. I think Creighton could go to the Final Four, and I would not be surprised. So give me Creighton. on the money line parlay. Give me them in a teaser, and I'll even take the -9.5 because I think you getting them under double digits is a steal. I just think they're going to outclass Princeton from the tip.
Yeah, this is a team. Really, I thought Yale was the better Ivy League team, but hey, hats off to Princeton. They're doing a great job. I loved Missouri against them over the weekend, and I mean they proved me wrong on that. You know, the thing with the Blue Jays, they shot 45% three-pointers against Baylor, but we've been saying that Baylor can't defend. You know, the guards did the damage in that game. The two guards, 30 and 17 points. Yeah. The first game, the big guy underneath was the guy, I think he had 31 points. So different. The only thing about the Blue Jays, and I'm going to say this, and I think they win really quick. I think they blow them out too. I'm right with you. I think a teaser play, take it down some more, and you're going to be great. And the only thing with that is the bench. They don't play a lot of guys. No. They go about 8 guys. I think it was 8 guys, and only one guy on the bench against Baylor got like 20 minutes. The other guys got like 5 and 3. So as this team goes on, man, the depth might be a concern for the Blue Jays here out of Creighton here, but they're going to roll on. They're going to roll on Friday night.
Yeah, I'll be quick here. I don't know about taking double digits. That's a lot. Princeton, kudos to them. They played 2 teams though that kind of wanted to run, which played into their strength. They're not afraid to actually run as long as they can stay out of foul trouble and keep their guys out on the court. Creighton can run, but they don't need to. I think they can just use their size. They're good shooting. They're great at the foul line.
They rebound really well. They don't turn the ball over.
Yeah, I think Creighton's going to win. That 9 is just maybe a little too much. I could see this ending up like a 7-point game, like getting some junkers down the end and whatnot. So just give me Creighton to advance. I'm probably not going to bet this. If I do, I might look the over.
Yeah, the one thing, let me jump in really quick. I think with the Blue Jays, they're gonna, Princeton, like Matt said, they're not afraid to run. They're gonna go here too. They do like shooting the 3-pointers. They shot 33 attempts the last game. So the Blue Jays better get out there and defend that, because you know what happens when teams are hitting 3-pointers and they're gonna hang around a little bit.
Jason.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what Creighton actually does. They defend the 3-point line, unlike the other 2 opponents they played. So that's going to be a big factor in this game. They only allow 30% of the shots come from 3. So I think the advantage that Creighton has too, and Arizona should have had this advantage, but they didn't play that way, is that they got a 7-footer protecting the rim for all the backdoor stuff, and they can get out on all their shooters. And Creighton, they kind of run a similar offense. I'm not going to say they run Princeton style, but they understand like the motions they're going to see. They see it every day. So I think this is a really bad matchup for Princeton. If they'd have got another quick team, I mean, the big thing Saturday was Missouri had to go zone, which completely got them out of their game and had them playing slow, and that team can't play slow, and got them. Creighton doesn't mind playing slow. They don't mind playing fast. I say this is a really bad matchup for the Tigers to pull the upset. So I would lay the 9. I think this is going to be a rout.
All right, the last game of the Sweet 16 slate is going to be Friday, your 9:45s, number 2, Texas, and number 3, Xavier. Texas laying 4.5, over under 148.5. I think it's real easy. I think the Houston showdown, even though I'm saying I'll take the points to Miami, I think it's going to be Houston, Texas. I think the X factor is Fremantle just not being there for Xavier. I think Texas is legit. I think they have the guard play. I think they have the big center down low. I think they have the determination, the discipline. I mean, listen, they had a coach literally choking out his fiance, get fired, could have destroyed the whole team and everybody would have understood, but they didn't. The coach went on an immaculate run, got this team focused. They're playing better basketball than they did with Chris Beard, in my opinion, and I think they get the win here. Definitely Texas in a teaser, Texas moneyline parlay. If you can catch the number, if you can maybe buy down the 4.5 to the 4, I would be okay with it. I just think down the stretch, if you can get to that 4 and Xavier has to foul a couple times, you'll get that cover. But I think Texas is the better team and they advance.
Yeah, Texas coming right back to Kansas City. They just won at this place 2 weeks ago in the big 12 conference here. So I'm not sure yet. I want to see this. I like Xavier. A lot of guys can score in this team. Like you did say that one of their key players not playing here. I know Jason's not a big Sean Miller guy. I don't mind Sean Miller a little bit. So I got to see where this goes, but I would not mind a teaser spot here. And I agree. Everything you said about Texas, I agree with you. I think they're a great team. The guy's done a hell of a job, so good for him. But The one thing I'm concerned with this teaser spot, I wouldn't mind taking it up.
Jason Gunn.
Oh yeah, yes. It's anytime with Sean Miller is on site, just so you know. That's
Fade Sean Miller.
Now you look at Texas when they've lost this year. It's against really rugged defensive teams, like where they just can't get shots. Xavier's not that team. Like you watch them play, they're a good defensive team, but they're not like Elite Eight defensive team. And for some reason, every time I watch Xavier play, they have one stretch where they look like they can beat anybody, and then their offense just dies, and they let everybody back into the game. That's happened like numerous times here, and I don't understand it. I guess it's just kind of the nature of their offense. They really don't have a star offensive player with Fremantle out. They just have a lot of good scheme, and they kind of take advantage of the things you do wrong on defense. Texas impressed me. Like I said, I didn't know what Rodney Terry was going to bring. I thought they had the best game plan against Pickett that I've seen all year with late doubles, and kind of just took advantage of the mismatch with Funk all game. And that takes some discipline. When you're a good team, sometimes you don't make the adjustments. Like good guards. And the one thing I did see with Xavier, they really struggled with against. They were getting beat constantly. Texas will take them off the dribble all day. They'll foul everybody out. So I actually think Texas wins this pretty easily.
Yep, I'm gonna go the teaser king approach here, but this is gonna be the best bet of the first two games or the first two nights. Texas lay the points. Xavier is horrible at stopping the ball going to the rim. Horrible. Dylan Disu, who is averaging I think 22.5 points, loves to drive, loves to go to the hoop. I don't think they're gonna stop him. Xavier's going to score, but Texas is too good. They love that coach. These kids actually have came out and said, we want this coach to be our coach. We want to win for this guy.
Yeah, I think they're playing hard for him. I think this is a statement win.
Xavier just doesn't have enough pop to beat these guys. We could be completely wrong. Smitty might be right, but I think this is the best bet of the weekend. Lay the points with the Longhorns.
I love it. Well, that covers all the Sweet 16 games. We're not going to cover the Elite Eights until we actually know the matchups. We'll do that on Twitter. Follow us. I don't have anything else. I think we keep this short and sweet, strictly to college basketball. Smitty, you got anything?
No, enjoy the games, and hopefully we're going to help you win some money or fade us and win some money too.
All right, boys, you got anything as we close it out?
Q will the best XFL handicapper in the world. Give his picks on Twitter this weekend.
I think I am. I was spot on with the over. I actually would be 7-2 if I posted plays. I was 6-1. I would have went 1-1. I thought St. Louis Battlehawks were going to prevail at home, and DC Defenders proved me wrong. They're the only undefeated team, and I think they're legit, and they're getting better and better. I think they can beat the Houston Roughnecks.
Is the game, real quick, because I have not looked, is DC playing the Roughnecks this week?
They are.
Oh, okay. There you go, people.
I'm telling you, if they win, they're lock.
Yep.
I think it'll be another over. I think it'll be another over. I think it'll be another over. I don't know what the line is. Probably 42.5, somewhere around there. I just think 40. DC is it 40? Yeah. So I know how to cap this sport. I'm telling you, 7-2. I'm the man.
Seattle.
I don't know why. I don't know why nobody's worried about your quarterback issues in Seattle.
Seattle's going to win the championship.
Nope. All right, 42. Give me the over. I would imagine DC's favorited, but I'll be on Twitter with them. So, other than that, follow our Twitters for Sweet 16 official bets. Listen to the show. I'll give XFL. Smitty's killing it in college baseball, so keep following those. I'm starting to finally get away from the 500 mark. Outside of that,
Sharp Angle Syndicate. Follow our boys too, man.
Smitty's best bets.
Bet is on there. Those guys are great.
What's the code again?
NBW20, man.
Yep.
Sign up with them if you need help, and that will help the boys out here at Notebook Wagering. Sign up with that code.
All right, there you have it. Until next time, we're going to always leave the show, as we say, bang your bookies.